morning. It's the main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. And folks, he's feeling a little down today. He was forced to go out and hang out with the old accountant of the Cowboys last night and knows where all the bodies are buried, if you will. Among hobnobbing with other stars last night, he's slumming it with us here today.
Yes.
Dale Hellestree, everybody.
Good morning, Steven. Always working for the show. That's what I say. Always working for the show.
I was at dinner when you were texting me. We'll get into the story in a second. But I was all like, oh, I'm here slaving over the show, and you're out at Mastro's and hobnobbing with big people.
I've been to a couple nice restaurants lately.
You have.
That's unlike me.
And here's the best part, though, right? You haven't had to break out your credit
I
card.
have not had to break it out. It's kind of crazy.
I was all, why is he at Maestro's? We're at Macayo's last night. You're over at Maestro's. Mastro's, whatever.
Yeah, you got to learn how to pronounce it before you go there, Steve.
I think I say it properly. I say it's naughty. Maestro's. We got Uncle Lou coming up today at 9 o'clock. It's going to be remote today as he's got some conflicts, but he's going to join us remotely.
Okay.
He'll be on here. Dale takes off. And are you taking off today and doing your other thing?
I am.
You've blown him off the last couple of weeks.
Hey, Steve's more important.
Or John wasn't available.
No, he's available.
No, last week. Oh, yeah. Last week you went golfing with your family instead.
Yes,
so
yes.
Always priorities down on the side.
Yeah, but always working for the show.
I'm over here reeling. This is the first time I got excited. Normally when you tell me you set up something, I'm like, yeah, who cares about that guy? This one I'm actually excited about. If you come through for me on this one, I'm going to be
really? Oh, really?
So last night, throw the picture up here of Dale last night. And this is what's interesting, folks. Here's the backstory. If you've watched this program for a long time, Dale doesn't care about wrestling and he doesn't care about racing. Two things he just doesn't care about out there.
But don't they both start with R's? Wrestling and racing.
In your case, yes. In your case, yes. So I get this text yesterday from Dale, and I'm just sitting there at dinner and everything. And sorry, I just saw a text from Robert here. But I get this text, and it says, Santini Ferrucci. Do you know the name? IndyCar guy. And I literally look at Autumn and go, why is Dale texting me about an IndyCar driver? And I go, absolutely, big name. And then you just silence. And I go, you going to leave me hanging on this?
I wanted you to stew in it.
Are you leaving me hanging on this? There you go, folks. Dale met and hung out with last night Santini Ferrucci. Young IndyCar driver.
First thing I said to him, they introduced me to him. Nobody said this is IndyCar race.
Yeah.
Just this is our friend Santini.
Yeah, he just comes over for barbecues on the weekend.
And he does because he lives in Dallas with all these other guys.
AJ Foyt. He drives for the AJ Foyt team, if you know racing, and Dallas guy.
And I looked at him. I go, "Are you old enough to drink? Look at his face."
I know. They're all that way, man. They're all tiny, tiny people.
He's 27 years old. Yeah. I'm not even talking about our differences in our bodies.
No. I'm just saying he just looks like a baby.
He looks like a little kid.
Even like the old ones look like they're little
really?
kids. Yeah. I mean, they have wrinkles and stuff, as you get older, but they're just tiny people, man.
He asked me a bunch of questions about the Cowboys, and started asking.
Is he a Cowboys fan?
He's not.
Yeah,
he's not. He was born in Florida.
I would say he didn't grow up in Dallas. He's there because of his team, AJ Foyt's team,
and his wife is from there.
Yeah, so he's not even a Cowboys fan, but was asking.
But he was asking me a bunch of questions, so then I started asking questions, and he kind of told me a little bit about who he was, and I'm like, so my podcast partner is a big racing fan.
Your show partner, by the way.
Show partner. Excuse me.
You got to get that podcast thing out of
Oh, okay. And I said, do you think he'd know your name?
This was the bet, folks.
and I didn't, he's saying his name and it's kind of loud. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Well, it's a hard name to spell.
Yeah. Santini.
Yeah. Ferrucci.
And I just send that to Steve. I said, does the name ring a bell?
Santino.
Or
what did you say, Santini? Yeah, Santino.
Santino. And he Steve said yes, he did.
So did you show him and go, oh, he does know who you are.
Oh yeah,
He's not fake.
I did. But I'm always thinking about the show. I'm always thinking about you. How can I make Steve's life more exciting?
And Dale's like, oh man, instead of going, hey man, he does this auto racing show. He's recording it tomorrow. You have some time out of your day that we can, he can interview you. No. Dale's like, oh, we won't text you that much. We'll just see you this weekend.
Well, I know how it is, Steve. When you meet somebody new and you're kind of hesitant.
I would never go through those circles if I don't.
And now hopefully you meet him this weekend, and
that's what I'm saying.
And you're nice, and you're
that's
not
different. Yeah.
Standoffish.
If I know who he is, I'll text him personally and be like, hey man, you available to come on the show sometime?
Yeah.
But if I don't know, I would never do. Even in that setting, I wouldn't have been like that. I would have just been like, yeah, we'll come by and see you this weekend or whatever. But look at Dale, folks, hobnobbing it on a Wednesday night.
I got this guy's number. Gave it to Steve.
That was my favorite part. Was I go, now Dale, before you responded, I go, now Dale's texting me his number.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? Anything of baseball, hockey, football, I'd just be like, yeah, Dale's out. Dale ran into somebody somewhere. But I'm like, this isn't somebody where Dale just sat down and goes, oh, you're a driver?
Yeah.
That's what was blowing my mind. Was I was like, that would be like a wrestler sitting down next to you and Dale going, oh, I'm sitting next to some guy named CM Punk. And I'd instantly, my curiosity would be like, why are you sitting next to them? Anybody else, I'd be like, yeah, cool, glad to meet him, whatever. You tell him how fake you thought his sport was?
No, not racing. I mean, he showed me some videos.
You just go in circles. No, IndyCar is amazing. I do a lot of NASCAR coverage. We go to a lot of races and stuff. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying we do the pit stop, of course.
Right.
New episode coming up today for the week and everything. And I mean, NASCAR's it's an entertaining venue. A lot of people don't like it because it's more of an entertainment type sport. Is how it's easily fixable. Those of you that follow NASCAR and what I talk about, you kind of know what I'm talking about. But there's something about IndyCar and F1 where it's just like these guys are crazy.
Yeah, he had showed me about 3 videos.
Yeah.
From evidently he had a camera on his helmet or
from
something.
Him in the car. Yeah.
And when you're passing somebody at 240 miles an hour,
keep in mind they're also going 200 miles an hour.
And it's like, oh my God, I don't care how ballsy you are.
Yeah.
And he said live for those moments.
Oh yeah,
I live for those.
That's
moments.
what cracks me up. Like when those guys get out of their car and then they just go, they go get in their rental to drive back to the airport, and they're like, how do they go 50 miles an hour?
It's hard enough for me when I exit the freeway going 70 to, on the exit road, slow down to 55.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily looking forward to IndyCar racing on the Phoenix Raceway track because it's an oval mile. A mile and a quarter, whatever it is, but they're going to go fast, so that'll be spectacular to see. But like last weekend when they're on the road course at St. Pete, that was fun to watch and stuff like that. But so I'm excited for the Indy guys cars coming in this weekend because it's just a different perspective. Even NASCAR drivers are like, ooh, these Indy guys,
really,
they're different. Yeah, they look at even them kind of a different level. And then you got F1. The problem with IndyCar is the more money you have, the better your team is. Whereas NASCAR, everything's supposed to be equal, even though it's not. It's supposed to be equal and stuff like that. But now IndyCar and F1, it's like, you have the money and you can win just by having the money.
And AJ Foyt's team's pretty good.
Yeah, they're good, but they're not that Chip Ganassi's team right now with Alex Palau and those guys. They're just dominant and stuff like that. So yeah, Pato O'Ward.
Now, did I read or hear somewhere that Michael Jordan's team won a 3rd race in a row?
3 in a row coming into town.
So is he going to dominate like the Bulls?
Yeah, I told you. You sue NASCAR and went for the first 3 races the next year. Yeah.
You think that's part of the settlement?
I'm starting to question if it is.
Steve. Come on.
I was telling you the story before. Like this is how corporate. See, IndyCar guys are like the old school racing side of it. Like there was a time in NASCAR where you could show up at the track, media credential or not, and a driver would just stand there and talk to you.
Right.
And be cool with you. Those days are gone. It's all corporate now and stuff like that, But Tyler Reddick, I interviewed him on our show when I first came over here, and everything. And NASCAR was like, hey, is there any chance you can interview Tyler Reddick? We could, He needs to interview with some people and blah. And I'm like, absolutely, bring him on. I have no problem talking to a young driver that's not doing anything in NASCAR right now. I have no problem. Bring him on. So I interviewed him. Now I sent a note. I'm telling you, I sent a note a couple weeks ago, and they were like, "Yeah, he's not doing local interviews." Because now he's won 3 in a row. Now he's big time.
But I did tell you you're in great company because John Holmberg, the number 1 rated show in the Valley.
Yeah.
He says the big name guys who came here when they were
the comedians.
Well, with the comedians when they were playing the smaller venues.
And they needed to sell tickets.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now they're selling out, Suns Arena or whatever. They don't make the trips.
John who?
Yeah.
John who?
They said, no, we're friendly, but they just don't come on the show anymore.
It's amazing how that happens, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's part of what we do also, is promote them till they get big enough and then let them move on and sprout their wings.
Right.
And then go from there. But IndyCar guys, you proved it to me. IndyCar guys, now I'm sure not all of them are this way, but every time I get around them, they're just a lot more friendly and conversational than a lot of the NASCAR guys.
And it's always funny to me when you talk to a guy from another sport. He was so as an offensive lineman, why does this happen? Why does that happen? And he was asking me as many questions as I'd ask him. I'm like, shut up, I want to ask you questions.
Isn't that what's amazing to me is like, because he probably grew up and was like, I'm going to be a football player. And he was a racing guy his whole life. You don't just walk into IndyCar, but at some point of him, he was like, I want to play football, like every kid does. So it's amazing. It's like every actor wants to be a singer. Every singer wants to be an actor. And you get kind of on that side. Yeah, Tail's like, I'm done talking about football. Yeah. Just watch the show. I talk about it enough on there.
I want to know about this passing 22 people.
Yeah, the one race, yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, he did. My biggest problem, and I'll talk about this later on on the pit stop, is my biggest problem with IndyCar is it's not every race, but I kind of sum it up that way, being dramatic. But every race, there's a first lap wreck. And like 3 or 4 people that you're interested in watching are out of the race in the first lap because of a wreck.
Okay.
And it happened last week.
Did it?
Stingray Bob, your boy that you just met last night, involved in it. And it just cracks me up. So I'm hoping to God this weekend that green flag doesn't fly on that Indy race on Saturday. And then a first lap wreck. And then all of a sudden, last time IndyCar was here, it was like 8 years ago or whatever. I bought tickets. Was all excited to get there. Got there. Sit down. First lap wreck. Half the field's out of the race.
Really?
The rest of the race is just guys driving by themselves out there. Zoom, zoom, zoom. No competition, no nothing. It's half the field. And all the guys you want to see were wrecked out in the first lap. That drives me nuts about IndyCar, man. It's like, and I take a lot of grief for saying that, but it's like every time I'm watching it, it's like, oh.
So tell me this.
Why I wanted to watch.
Why did IndyCar leave?
Just
because you've had the NASCAR race every year, right?
NASCAR owns the track here.
Okay.
So it just comes down to on the schedule. Does it fit into the schedule? When does it fit into the schedule? I'm sure there's kickbacks involved.
Okay. All right.
Like Indy goes to Vegas, or F1 goes to Vegas. They go to Vegas because Vegas pumps a lot of money and pays,
Okay.
NASCAR goes to Vegas twice a year because Vegas wants NASCAR there twice a year. There's pump in some money. Vegas pays NASCAR to go there twice a year and stuff like that.
Okay.
So there's a lot of that stuff in there. Plus, it just comes down to tracks. I'm not a big fan of, just driving around on small ovals going that fast. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
He said that he likes driving tracks more than the
streets.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Probably. I'm not going to say easier, but you're just turning left in theory, right? Streets is no different. I mean, it's different than us driving on streets, but it's exactly what it sounds like. You take right turns, left turns. You speed up. You have to slow down for a turn and stuff like that.
Right.
So I could see that. You're speeding up. You're gunning it, getting up to 200, and then you're slamming on your brakes, getting down to 70 for a turn.
Well, I'm hoping, I put my reputation on the line, and I hope that
we'll find out.
I hope Steve doesn't screw it up. I get a call from Santino.
I swear I'm going to show up and he's going to be like, who?
if I get a text from Santino saying, "Who is this guy? Why is he bothering me all day? Why is he sleeping in my trailer?
You know, yeah, no, that
Why is he eating all my snacks?"
that won't be me if you get that phone call, because I'm not that way at all. So I'm not even afraid. Like I already told you my plan. And my plan is to just like wander over there and just kind of hang out, and then I'll just text him and be like, "Hey man, Dale Hillstray gave me," and I'll just be like this, and I'll be like, "Hey, if you're available, if not, no worries," and we'll do whatever. I totally don't like to bother those guys. They have a job to do. This is a work weekend for them.
It is. But he was having fun last night.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing when you see him out in the wild.
Yeah.
Like I've spent a lot of time with drivers in Vegas before races and leading up to a race, and it's just like wow. They're like anybody else. They're doing the club scene. There were sponsors and parties, and you're like, wow.
And he was going from that one to another get together somewhere after we had cocktails.
You got to go from sponsor to sponsor to sponsor, and those obligations, and make everybody keep everybody happy. Let's put it that way. On top of it, he races for one of the greatest IndyCar racers of all time too, AJ Foyt.
Yeah,
so.
I'd heard that name.
Oh, he was big back in the late 80s, early 90s, probably,
right.
If I had to guess in that time frame. When I was a kid there as well. So there you go. Dale hobnobbing yesterday, folks.
I go to Mastro's. First thing I'm thinking about, hey, I think Steve might like to meet this guy. Amazing.
I'm at Macayo's.
Amazing.
Stuffing my face with the tostada. Stuffing chips down my throat. Dale's over there going, do I want the tomahawk? Do I want the what appetizers do we want? Do your friends last night order like Bruce does? Little bit of everything.
They are unbelievable. They all have money and they all spend it.
Okay, and I kind of alluded to this earlier. Somebody that worked in the accounting side of the Cowboys knows a lot of details. Does he ever talk about them?
Well, the other thing is he's married to Gene Jones' sister.
Oh, so he's in the family.
So Jerry's his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So he's in.
Oh, so he won't spread any.
No.
You see, that's what you got to do. When you get in those positions, you have to marry in the family. To keep things quiet.
Yes. But no, they do it every year. Hey, God bless them. They're in their early 70s. There's 4 of them. They golf boulders. Both courses there.
Ooh, the boulders.
Through True North. They stay at a really nice place. And, they do dinner right. I will leave it at that.
Leave it to your imagination. Look, if they're playing the boulders in True North this time of year.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Enough said there. Well, I mean, you also said who he's married to, so he's got money on that side also.
Yes. So that was my Wednesday night.
Yeah. I was at Macayo's.
Yeah. See, it probably would have been better off if we switched, because I probably enjoy Autumn's company as much as Santino's.
Yeah, Autumn's great company. Autumn's great company.
Were you looking across that, or be serious, when you saw that picture? I said, I'm having drinks with them, and you went, man, I wish I was at Mastro's.
No.
You didn't think that at all?
No, I didn't. No, I would have had to got dressed up. I would have had to have drive across town. No, that's a lot.
Is there Macayo's out by you?
I would do my hair. Yeah, Ocotillo and Signal Butte, about 7 miles from me.
Okay.
Well, Ireland has a Wednesday appointment that we had to drive to, so I drove across town. I drove back to Chandler, and then came back, and then had to go drop her off at her mom's. So we driven a lot.
Okay.
But it was rough though, man, because I've been stuffy all week. I'm trying to shake it for this weekend, man. And like Ethan had the flu last week. I told you he was at his mom, so he wasn't around me. He had the flu last week. I woke up Sunday a little stuffy, and I'm just fighting off this stuff. And I'm like, man, I got a busy weekend. Like I got to get rid of this thing quickly. So I'm just like medicine galore and all that stuff, man. And it's like I got home at like 7:30, 7:45 last night, and I was just like, I gotta go to bed. Like this, I'm just worn out, and it's just trying to fight off the sickness and everything. So
what? So we could talk about it more tomorrow. But what will your schedule be for this weekend? You be out there Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah. So we're working on the schedule because it's exciting. Because now that Ethan's 18, you guys know Ethan. He comes in and he works for us here. He'll be here during spring break a little bit as well. And he likes dabbling in this. He doesn't want to make it a career or anything, but he likes dabbling in it and that stuff. So I put him in. I said, hey man, do you want to come do some, we take cameras out there, videography, and stuff like that. I said, you want to help us cover NASCAR, coming up? And he was like, yeah, I'll do it. That'll be fun, whatever. They don't hear from him again. So I just put it in for him, and whatever, and we get approved and whatnot and everything. And he's just like super excited to go. So now I got to work around his school schedule and stuff like that, which is fine for Friday.
Right.
Because he's got for JRTC, he's got to do this land nav thing. He'll be out by Florence where they drop him in the middle of the desert and they got to go find things with a compass and all that stuff. So he's going to be a little tired and things like that. So, but no, we'll be out there Friday night just for the qualifyings and stuff like that. But Saturday's the big day because you got IndyCar and then O'Reilly Series, and then it's Sunday. But then the time change on Sunday, it starts at 12:30 now, which isn't a big deal. We don't stay out there. We drive back and forth. It's an hour drive and stuff. So we'll be tired by Sunday, but that'll be the week. Definitely Saturday and Sunday, you'll see me out there.
Okay.
And we won't leave out there on Sunday until 7 or so, because we see all the the interviews and all that stuff we're there for. So it's a long weekend, but not terrible.
So do you think Santino has a chance to win?
Always has a chance to win.
Okay.
Willie's another story.
Yeah.
IndyCar is just one of those where there's a couple teams that are just dominating. They're just dominating. There's nothing you can do about it. But he's got a chance to win. Finished up. Just stay out of the first lap wreck. That's all you got to do.
Okay.
All you got to do out there. But it is funny, though, how tiny they are. It does crack me up.
Yeah, I was sitting down, and the guy said, hey, let's get a picture of you two. And I went to stand up. He goes, no, you can just sit there. I said, no, I need to stand up.
Is he self-conscious about his size?
No, not really.
But NASCAR drivers are no different.
Yeah.
There's a couple that are as tall as me, like Joey Logano's taller. Kyle Busch is taller. But most of them are just tiny little things, man. Like they walk up to you and it's like, oh, look at the little boy down there. So it does crack me up how that works and everything. But hey, what do you do? Part of the fun that we deal with here. But Robert chimes in and says, we're still playing with it, Robert. Still playing with it. He says, Big Steve, the Bat Cave is beginning to grow on me. Ethan was pretty critical of the color back here yesterday. And I didn't change it today. I'm keeping it the same for a few days. We can do other colors as well. But it's not that stark white. I like it not being that stark white.
Yeah, the stark white was not very...
Yeah. So we just got to find a color that works. I think that's too light purple, I guess I should say. It's supposed to be a dark blue. We'll figure it out. We're going to work on it and figure it out. Problem is I gave Dale my good background, the red bricks. That's my problem. I shouldn't have given you the good one.
Because I look better in red.
Dale in red, dancing with the world. Hey, Suns play the Bulls tonight, Dale. You got to take off here in just a little bit.
Yep.
Any expectations for you from the Bulls, from the Suns tonight? What are you just looking for? Bulls are a bad team. They're 12th in the East, I think.
Okay.
Kobe, throw up the Eastern Conference standings, if you will, in the NBA, because the Suns have some teams against some Eastern teams here, so we should refresh everybody's memory here as well. And Dale, we forgot to put up the big TV again to blow these up for us in here,
Yeah.
so my apologies for you there. Detroit Pistons still lead it there, but the Bulls are down there at the bottom. They're in the 12th spot right now. Look, the Suns should beat the Bulls. No doubt about it. They're 25-37 on the year as well going into this game tonight. So any expectations? The Bucks are right ahead of them at 11th spot. They have them coming up here as well. Both beatable teams, but the Bucks are playing better.
Yes, they are.
Than they were earlier. They're not the lay down team as they were before. They are starting to wake up a little bit. So that'll be a little tougher. But in terms of expectations for the Suns tonight, what are you going to be looking for?
Well, it'll be interesting. Mark Williams evidently not going to play.
Did they say why?
Sore foot.
I can relate.
Sore foot. Steve wakes up in the morning sometimes with a sore
Did you see that
foot.
yesterday? I'm looking it up right now. There's a player in the NBA
who hasn't missed a game in his career.
Yeah, 364 straight games or something like that.
So he's not a rest guy.
No, yeah, he's not. He's not. And he was ruled out because he woke up and his ankle hurt.
How was he sleeping?
Hey, man, I'm just telling you, Dale, it happens. It happens.
I
I've
mean,
had that happen several times. I had one. I went to the Pat Tillman run. I walked it more than I ran back years ago. Went home. Everything was fine. Went home, took a nap, woke up. My ankle was the size of a basketball in bright purple. I crawled to the emergency room to get it checked out.
As much as you like to think it, though, Steve.
It happens all the time, Dale. I have the characteristics. I can be a world-class athlete, Dale.
As much as you'd like to think it, Steve, you are not an elite athlete at this point in your life.
I can do what elite athletes do. I can take a nap and wake up in pain.
You woke up, couldn't walk, go, dang, I got a lot in common with some of these guys.
That was the thing. I saw that yesterday. Autumn actually saw it first, and she showed it to me, and I'm like, huh, interesting. Yeah, Autumn actually goes, this is so you. Harrison Barnes for San Antonio. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's 364 something like that
consecutive games,
and he has to miss because he slept. What happens is the doctors have told me is you actually injure it before, but then when you go and you lay down, and then it stiffens up and does all this other stuff, and then it manifests itself that way. His problem was he went to sleep. His pregame nap.
He must nap hard.
I think a lot of people were like, what did he do during his sleep? So I'm just saying, Dale. I'm just saying. You constantly tell me I couldn't have been a professional athlete. There's one trait that I have as world-class athletes. I'm able to take a nap and wake up with something hurting.
Steve McCollum, Mark Williams, Harrison Barnes. It just rolls off the tongue.
I saw Williams was out, and I didn't click on it to read it. I just saw that he was ruled out yesterday. He was ruled out tonight.
Sore foot.
It's a precautionary thing, right? If this was the playoffs he'd play, I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
Because the ruling came out a day before, it tells you, all right, we're just going to take you. We're just going to take it out of your hands and move on with their lives, right? But Booker's playing, Allen's playing, the Bulls aren't. That's the other thing. You're playing the Bulls, too. The Bulls don't have a big center. What I'm excited about, though, give Oso more time.
Yeah, Oso Ighodaro will probably start in his place. And guess what? Guess who the Bulls have that I forgot about?
They traded so many people at the trade deadline. Who do the Bulls?
What happens if Nick Richards comes in here and scores 30 and has 15 rebounds?
I thought Nick Richards was out for the Bulls. Is he playing?
He's playing.
Oh, I thought I read he was hurt. He might be back or something.
Yeah.
All right. Wouldn't that be awesome if that happens?
That'd be awesome.
That's just what we deal with here in Phoenix, is what I'm getting at.
How about this? Look at this.
Really?
A guy for the Bulls, a guy named Javen Ivey. He's going to be out tonight.
Yep.
Because of left patellofemoral pain syndrome.
Yeah. I don't know, but my right one hurts just hearing that.
I'm guessing it's something to do with your patella tendon on your knee.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And then Anthony Simmons has a left ulnar styloid fracture.
Yeah, Bulls are starting to tank. They traded a lot of they traded Kobe White and a couple other guys at the trade deadline. They're starting to tank a little bit here. But what's with the medicals? Remember back in the day when they were just like a knee? He's out with a knee.
They're getting pretty specific. Hey, people won't even know what this is.
So Suns should win tonight. I mean, obviously you got to go play the game and stuff to that effect, but I'm expecting them to win tonight, especially at home and everything. But I just want to see more of that meshing. Yeah, Mark Williams is going to be out, which is a loss in terms of that meshing side of it. But we should see Oso a little bit more. I'd like to get Malawach out there, man. Even if it's 5 minutes in that second quarter, third quarter time frame, especially if you draw a big lead, get him out there and just let him run around. Have some fun. Get a sweat on. Get a lather. That's what we need to see.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, yeah, you're right. What did I read? I thought I swore I read Nick Richards was injured. must have been dreaming that. I
Yeah.
dream about Nick Richards in my free time, apparently.
Lot of questions, Steve. Lot of questions.
I'm actually questioning that too. Like, why would I make up a Nick Richards thing on top of that? Throw up the West standings really fast for me here, Kobe, as well. Suns still with their 35 wins, still firmly in that 7th spot. Look, they're 4 games ahead of the Golden State Warriors. We're under 20 games to play left in the season. It's getting to the point where the Warriors, barring a Suns collapse, they're just not going to be able to catch the Suns.
Run out of games.
Running out of games here. So that, to me, that I told you yesterday, that 7th spot seems to be secured for me. For the Suns, the question, like you said, is, and you think they'll catch the Lakers. I do believe they can catch the Lakers. I'm not going to pull the trigger and say they're definitely going to do it, but I will not be shocked if they do. Everybody else is out of contention. But to me, get to that 6th seed, avoid the play-in games. That's just extra games on you.
Because the thing is, if you're playing that first play-in game, the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. But if you're the 7th seed, there's the problem. You lose that game.
Yeah.
You have to play again.
Yes. But the thing is, and Golden State Warriors, they can light it up any given night.
For one night.
Yeah. Steph Curry can score for you. Now, you play them in a 7-game series. I'd like the Suns' chances. But, boy, if you can avoid that at some cost, that'd be great.
It's just, to me, you don't want the extra games. Like you said, if you lose that game, you have to play another play-in game to qualify at the 8th seed. So just avoid it. Just get that 6th seed. And then here's the other side of it. You also avoid playing the Oklahoma City Thunder or the San Antonio Spurs in that first round.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not saying the Suns are as good as the Houston Rockets or the Timberwolves or the Nuggets. Take the Nuggets out of this conversation because I don't think the Suns match up with the Nuggets at all. But the Suns, I think, I'm not saying they're going to win this series, but I think that Houston Rockets and Timberwolves, I think there could be a long series there of competitiveness with those guys. So getting to that 6th seed is going to give you one of those guys as opposed to a 7-8 seed. You're playing the Spurs or the Thunder, which I'm not sure that's a good matchup for you.
Well, we know it's not. No matter what SGA wears to the games.
Did you see that last night?
Oh, I glanced at it and I went, what?
I was all, is he in a tiger costume? Dale, before you take off here and we take our break, I just want to get your thoughts on this because it's going to be the men's Big 12 tournament as well. I'm going to talk about this when we come back. The Big 12 court, a lot of hubbub on it. It's electric court. It's glass. It's liquid. They can't sell drinks for courtside people here because if they spill it, they can ruin the court. But players can sweat on it? What? That's weird. The women's Big 12 women's tournament is going on right now. And so we saw this floor unveiled. Kobe, put up the graphic here of the Big 12 court for me. So the men's is going to look like this too. This is, I actually had a couple of these games on yesterday. It's unwatchable garbage with this court. This is just a still shot. This is garbage.
Well, where's it taking place?
Kansas City.
Kansas City has.
Is it Dallas?
I think it might be Dallas.
No, if you see, it's a raised court. They put it into a regular deal.
Right.
Big 12 championship. Yeah, you're right. Now that you said that, Big 12 championship.
Because the football game
that's in Dallas.
Is in Dallas.
Let's see here really quick. Basketball. But my point is, Dale, what do you think of that court? It was unwatchable yesterday. It hurt my eyes. It bothered me. Kansas City, yeah.
Kansas City.
T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, yeah. You got to move it from there. I'm sorry. You got to move it someplace where people want to go in the dead of winter. But that court is beyond ugly.
Yeah. And probably super expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah. Do we need the XII logo everywhere on the court? Do we? Do we need it there? But look at the graphics even. They're muted. They don't stand out at all. Like when they showed us this, everything was bright and vibrant and everything.
Right.
And look at that Phillips 66 and the logo in the middle. Like it's muted. It's just garbage. But my point being is, look here on the left. You got this player in white standing by herself. She almost blends into the court. Anyway, that's what we're going to look forward to on the men's side here coming up as well.
It's going on. It'll be at the same place?
Same place, yeah.
Okay.
Same court and everything. So I don't know, Dale. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah,
I think that's ugly.
You know,
$1 billion entities, and that's what you come up with, that garbage.
I'm not into the antiseptics as much as you are.
Dale, watch a whole game like that. I watched 10 minutes of it and turned it off because I was like, this is trash. I was sitting here yesterday going, this is trash. Can't watch this garbage. Dale, go get your Tiger outfit on. Go to your press conference over there.
And I'll see you in the morning.
Maybe. I don't know. It depends what you hopping up with tonight.
You never know who I'm going to run into. But I always be thinking about Steve.
Come on back, folks. I'll get you up to Lou coming on. Lou's joining us remote here at 9 o'clock, but we'll cover the natural stuff out there. Come on back. Main event. And we're back here, main event. I'll get you going here. Dale, of course, takes off here on Thursdays and goes over and helps a little show out there called The Morning Sickness with John Holmberg and Brady and those guys over there. Brett goes over there and does a hit there. Appreciate everybody that's found us because of that hit as well. We do see those numbers kind of go up as well. So we appreciate you very much out there, of course. And then Uncle Lou comes in 9 o'clock, normally in studio. This week, he's just got a tight schedule, so he has to come on remotely. Obviously, we're okay with that. So he'll be on here at 9 o'clock, obviously set up hockey, any variations he sees, of course, college baseball happening as well right now and everything. And then UFC. Last week's fights were just a dud, folks. There's no way that I'm going to put it any better. As a novice here at UFC, getting into it and learning more about it, terrible fights down there in Mexico City. There was just not a lot to get excited for in my eyes in those fights. Not a lot of good fights down there either. One big upset, King Green. He nailed that one. Of course, plus 290 is what I got that at beforehand and everything. But this weekend, a numbered fight. Holloway's the main event here against Oliveira. That's the second battle here as well. He already released Holloway last week to you guys. So we'll get an update on that coming up at 9 o'clock as well. So before we get to that, though, we're talking about that Big 12 core. We already set up the stage for the Suns. Look, we can break down the Suns Bulls games and break down, they're going to do this. Look, Suns should beat the Bulls, right? Period. Bulls are a bad team. Even without Mark Williams tonight. Booker, Grayson Allen, not Grayson Allen. Holy cow, I've forgotten all the names now. Whew. It's like I all of a sudden I forgot. Oso playing more tonight. I'd like to see Malowitz get in there a little bit with Nick Richards, who I forgot about. I thought he was injured for some reason. But out there. Suns should win this game tonight. They should win it comfortably. We'll see if they do or not. And we'll go from there. They have this lull in this schedule coming up. What else can you say about it, to be honest with you? But then you got the women's Big 12 Conference Championships going on right now. Men's will get started. Of course, ASU plays this weekend, Saturday. U of Arizona plays on Saturday. And then the Big 12 tournament will get started for the men next week. But we showed you the court a second ago, folks. This is going to be the same court reportedly for that. Let's just reset it here. Here's what the court looks like if you haven't seen it there in Kansas City. Yeah, this is the women's game yesterday. When they showed it to us, all the vibrant colors of the logos, all the cool things they could do to it. and that stuff. The players, like I said, it looks like the player right there, the gal to the left. I apologize, I don't know who that is. Can't see the number. I should have probably notated it when I took it off of the video. But anyway, I digress. She just like disappears on this court. She's just standing there by herself. Then you go to the top. The two ladies there in the black uniforms. They just disappear on this court. It's too busy. Made my head hurt. Turned it off. Had no interest in watching it because of the court. Not because of a blowout game. Not because of competition. Not because I don't care. I turned it off because of the court. So we're going to be looking for something like that. Robert says on that XII court, because we don't need the XII everywhere. You have it in the middle of the court. You don't need it everywhere else to make that court look busy. You take that away, you probably have a nice court. The other thing is this court is just bland. It's muted. Where are the vibrant colors? Phillips 66 logo would look probably really nice in the regular red color, bright red color. That logo in the middle would probably look really nice in a bright white color. What are we doing? $1 billion entity here, the Big 12, and they screw up this court like this? I don't get it. But Robert says, looks like the over and back is a guesstimate. So if you do look, when you have this camera angle, you can see it. I will tell you, though, any other camera angle that's not straight on, you can't see it at all. Look at that court line. You can see if you look at the top of the thing there's something on the out of bounds there that it signifies that's the middle of that is the middle line. And there's a little line going down there. Now, if you look, it's a little darker of a line than the other lines are between the XIIs and stuff like that. But you're right. It's hard to see. But from this angle, that's why I actually chose this angle, because you can see it there a little bit better. But on the court, are you able to see it as well, running up the court with all this stuff? This is just a giant distraction. This is a giant mess, a giant just miss by the Big 12 here. You want to be a big boy like the SEC and the Big 10? Well, start by making better decisions here, is my opinion on this, Big 12. This is ridiculous. And the women's tournament, I'm interested in it. I want to see who can win this. I want to see the battle it out. I want to see how the ASU team does, obviously there. And everything. You're making it unwatchable. Now imagine the millions of people that are going to tune in for just this absolute national championship type level battle that's going to be coming on the men's side of the Big 12 tournament. The millions of people tuning in for the men's tournament coming up here. You have, even though Kansas is going to fall in the rankings because they've lost 2 in a row now and stuff to that effect. The people tuning in to watch Houston play and the battle they're going to have, BYU and their young studs out there, right? Arizona, I mean, obviously everybody's going to tune in to watch them as well. Texas Tech, Iowa State, Kansas, even though they're struggling right now. TCU is playing so much better right now. They could do some damage in this tournament coming up. UCF's improved a little bit as well. All these people, this top heavyweight battle here coming our way in the Big 12 tournament. People are going to tune in, and that's the garbage you're going to feed us, is that court. Ugh. It makes me most angry, folks, because so many people had to sign off on this. And not one person went. It's kind of busy. It distracts from the game. What's more important to you, Big 12? Advertising that this is a Big 12 court or the play on the court? With the men, I can pretty much guarantee you it's the play on the court that people are going to want to pay more attention to. That sells more tickets than that stupid court does. It's ugly. It's garbage. You're a $1 billion entity. Multiple people signed off on it. Fix it. Make the game watchable. Make us want to watch basketball, not turn it off. Hey, in terms of the Diamondbacks coming up as well, Brandon Pfaadt got on the mound yesterday for the D-backs as well. That's his first start in spring training, I do believe as well. He's been throwing in the back thing, came in injured. It was reported a week and a half or so ago. Came into this injured and everything. But he gets out there yesterday as well. Pfaadt did 2 1/3 innings. So he gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout for him as well. Of course, 0 ERA at that point. So Brandon Pfaadt, good outing for him. I told you yesterday, Merrill Kelly was throwing, no bullpen session or anything. He was throwing 2 days ago, which is a good sign. It means that his shoulder at least isn't hurting anymore, or the muscle in the back, wherever it was. Right, the shot helped him. But now that he's throwing, because the whole way you stop that pain that he was having is you just stop throwing, let it heal. Got the shot, he's throwing. Torey Lovello yesterday said Merrill Kelly is going to be doing a bullpen session today. So it's not the bullpen session I'm interested in. It's the after the bullpen session. How does he feel an hour? How does he feel later on tonight? How does he feel tomorrow morning after the bullpen session? Is what you should be paying attention to here for Merrill Kelly on the mound as well. But a good outing by Pfaadt yesterday, coming up here. I told you all along, I do believe Zach Gallen's going to end up being your number one starter on the season with Merrill Kelly not being able to do it. Brandon Pfaadt could probably win that role, though, depending on his status. How's recovering from that offseason injury, whatever happened to him in the offseason. So something to watch there. And he had a great outing yesterday as well for him. This has danger here. What we're about to talk about has a lot of danger here to backfire on the Diamondbacks and have your fan base turn against you. Sewald wasn't given a minor league deal. Hey, go in there, perform, and maybe make the team. Sewald was given a major league contract. Doesn't mean they can't cut him still. I don't know what the ramifications are or whatever. Sewald got into this game yesterday and pitched 1 inning. 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, I should say. He has an ERA of 9. If there's one relief pitcher that cannot come in here and have an ERA of 9, it's Paul Sewald. The fan base ain't going to stand for this after what we went through with him a few years ago. He's the one guy that can't mess up in this situation. He's coming in at 9. This could turn a fan base every time he goes onto the mound, a fan base against your team. Something to keep an eye on moving forward as well for him. But a 9 ERA for him. A lot of the relievers have high numbers. Some of them are minor league guys, of course. Aren't going to make the team. Things to that effect. It's kind of what you look at from that side. But Paul Sewald's not one of them. He's somebody that needs to come in here. He's somebody that needs to have a good outing every time he's out there to kind of put away those fears, and it's not happening with that 9 ERA for him. So I did pay attention to that yesterday, of course, as well for him. They played the A's yesterday. They kept, other than Sewald giving up that earned run, they kept the A's to that 1 run yesterday as well. And they only gave up, I believe it was 6 hits. I'm looking it up here real quick, so I want to be accurate with you guys. Yeah, and there's 1,000 pitchers that pitched yesterday. Carrillo got in there, 0.2 innings for him as well. He finished up the Pfaadt outing as whatnot. And then Sewald came in on a clean inning, gave up that 1 run as well for him. But, 6 hits yesterday is all they gave up against the Athletics yesterday. All right. With that many pitchers, I do like how that's looking for them as well. There, I'll also say this: I do believe Waldschmidt is going to start in the minor leagues. He's never played AAA baseball. He's playing well enough though that he could make this team. I just think that it's going to hurt him. He's just going to sit on the bench if he stays up here. So I do think he's going to go down, but I am seeing more and more chatter from people that follow this team, from people that are out with this team all the time, reporting on this team, beat writers, if you will. I'm seeing a lot of them talk more and more about how he's got a chance to make this team. And he does. He absolutely does. I just believe you start him in AAA, injuries that are inevitable to happen, and then you can call him up at that time. He's got options. So you could do that type of a deal. But that is a young player here that you should keep an eye on because he's going to be fantastic out there as well. He did not get into the game yesterday, I do not believe, going forward. But I do see a lot of people really hyping him up as we are going through the spring training time frame. And these are people that are out there with him all the time. They see him in batting practice. They see him, warming up. They see him, in games in person. It was kind of interesting to watch that dynamic kind of happen as we talk about that as well. So a lot of the guys, of course, we're going into the World Baseball Classic and World Baseball Classic. I know U.S. plays tomorrow against Houston. They're traveling out there to Houston here today. Let me pull up the schedule real quick here. I do believe Tokyo starts today because it's obviously Tokyo time. Let me pull up the schedule here just really quick, make sure we are correct on that. I do apologize I didn't have that ready for us out there, knowing I was going to talk about it. Yes, Thursday, March 5th, Tokyo Dome, Australia and Chechnya are battling it out. 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Phoenix time, I believe this is. Chechnya did beat Korea today already, 11-4. So there you go. Tokyo is underway. Then Australia plays Chechnya at 8 p.m. today, our time, as well. So obviously, they played overnight. Next day, they're playing Australia and Chechnya in terms of the Tokyo time. So that is going on. Then tomorrow, it gets underway. 3 a.m., folks, if you want to wake up. Lou, of course, is really heavy on high. He gave you the pick of Japan. I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe it was like 240 or something when he gave it to us. But he's high on Japan at this World Baseball Classic. They play Chinese Taipei there in Tokyo, Japan, 3 a.m. if you want to wake up and watch that game in the morning. 9 a.m., more respectable time, our time, Cuba, Panama, battle it out in Puerto Rico. Then you got Netherlands, Venezuela at 10 a.m., Mexico, Great Britain tomorrow at 11 a.m. By the way, Netherlands, Venezuela is from Miami, Florida. They're then from Houston. You got Mexico and Great Britain at 11 a.m. You got Puerto Rico, Colombia. They're in Puerto Rico coming up at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Nicaragua and Dominican Republic from Miami at 5 p.m. And that's where you get the United States-Brazil game, 6 p.m. tomorrow from Houston, Texas as well. Then after that, 8 p.m. our time, you got Chinese Taipei and Chechnya battling it out over there in Japan as well for that. So because of the time difference here, you get games all day long, literally 3 a.m. to 8 p.m. A little bit of a break in there as well. Then, of course, the tournament is underway, and then Saturday, a bunch of games as well on Saturday. Interesting enough, on Saturday, United States plays Great Britain. I know that. 6 p.m. on Saturday. I'll just give you a little look-ahead schedule there as well for you there for 6 p.m. On Saturday against Great Britain. Woo, World Baseball Classic's here. I'm excited for the World Baseball Classic. I think I said this on air. I think I said it with Bruce on Tuesday. My problem with the World Baseball Classic is all these guys are just coming into spring training and getting ready for the season. You're not going to see dominating pitching matchups where guys are going to go 6-7 innings, the starter, right? No hit baseball. These guys aren't set up to do that as they just came into spring training, right? So it is a step down in competition, but to counter that, you get the nationality side of things where guys are going to want to battle it and stuff to that effect. So the intensity will be higher, even if we're going to have a little bit of a lag there on the expectations of the players in this tournament. So it's kind of a trade-off. I'm excited to watch it. I'm going to watch a lot of it. But it's not going to be playoff baseball, if we put it that way. It's not going to be in line of the Four Nations tournament in hockey or the Olympics in the hockey. And that's just because guys aren't ready to go completely yet here at the beginning of the season. But it's going to be fun to watch. I have no doubt about that as well coming our way. As well. I don't know why I keep saying as well. I got to knock that off all of a sudden. Robert says, all the people that signed off on the court, meaning the Big 12 court, he says, we're also behind the McDonald's CEO taking a nibbling out of their new burger. By the way, so if you don't know what Robert's talking about, McDonald's CEO came out and he was talking about their new burgers out and he was like trying to sell it. And he barely bit into it. And he looked disgusted when he bit into it. Like he didn't like it. Not the first time he's done that. He did it last year as well. A little bit of a murmur on that, but this one's getting all sorts of uproar. My favorite thing about that, first of all, if you're a CEO of a company, you're probably not eating at McDonald's anyway, right? And if you are, you're in the test kitchen where everything's cooked perfectly and good, right? not what's actually out in the field that us mere mortals get. But if you're a CEO of a company and you're going to do a video like that, you take a big bite and you look like you're enjoying eating it. He looked like he's probably a vegetarian or something, right? He looked that uneasy eating this hamburger. My best part about this story, though, did you see the Wendy's one, Robert? The Wendy's CEO? Where he's grilling his own square burger and he's putting it together and he makes himself a Frosty and he goes, our ice cream machine works all the time. And he makes himself a Frosty. But he bites into that burger, man. He's all, and he's just chewing it like he loves the Wendy's burger out there. I just like the Wendy's guy, CEO did it the right way. But I just like it in contrast to the McDonald's guy out there as well. How Wendy's kind of played it up a little bit like, no, our burgers are good, fresh meat, never frozen meat. Whereas the McDonald's meat is frozen. It was amazing to watch. But if you're a CEO of a company, man, I'm sorry. You got to either like the product or you have to be really good at pretending you do if you want us to continue to eat. And I'm not a McDonald's hamburger fan. For me, McDonald's is just breakfast or their French fries. I stopped there the other day because I was hungry. I just needed to get a snack. A large fry, by the way, is $4.59 at McDonald's now. I almost called the police. There was a robbery going on. Ridiculous. What are you doing? $4.59 with that garbage. It's disgusting. Hey, top of the hour is here. We got Uncle Lou coming up next. He's going to join us remotely here as well. So, folks, we'll keep it rolling. Come on back. It's the main event. And we're back here, second hour main event on Thursdays. Well, he's joining us remotely today, but every Thursday at 9 o'clock, we get Uncle Lou there. He has his name on his background there. Is that so if you don't forget it, Lou, or if somebody else doesn't forget it?
Yeah, that's the first listing I got when I moved here 25 years ago as a realtor.
Nice.
And so we put in commercial, we put our name on the sign, and that is the first listing. I don't remember what the address of the property was, but that's from CB Richard Ellis, and I take it with me proudly.
Nice. No, I'm just giving you a hard time about your name being back there. But the problem is, it's like a UFC name. It's like I can say your last name until I read it. Now I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, you believe me, no one's been able to conquer it on the first attempt unless they're Mediterranean.
I'm not going to try now just because I see it written out and I'm going to butcher it beyond belief.
Uncle
right?
Lou.
Uncle Lou is what we know it as there. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Always happy to be with you. And there's a lot going on in a normal time that usually everybody's just ramping up for the NCAA tournament. But we have World Baseball Classic, the World Cup's eventually coming. hockey playoffs are 20 games away
Yeah,
from
about.
playoffs now. We're getting close. So there's a lot going on. And it's a fresh time for me because of the lack of NFL. And so I can really focus on the UFC and studying for these upcoming sports and tournaments.
Absolutely. So, well, first, tell everybody who you are, where they can find you, gamblu.com, at Gamblu on X. Tell everybody about that, and then we'll get rolling into it with college baseball, a little NHL talk. World Baseball Classic already has kicked off over in Tokyo, but the big games
Yep.
happen overnight into tomorrow. So, but tell everybody where they can find you and what you do.
I'm a sports handicapper. It's what hopefully the Lord bestows gifts on everybody. I know He does. I think one of mine might be that I've always been good at this. At least I've always really been passionate about it. And so the simple trick is that I use sports for me as a vehicle to try and earn money. And so I have assimilated with many of the fine folks in Las Vegas and other gambling areas around the country and world to try and make connections and be a better sports investor. And most of what I really bring comes from conservative roots in Omaha, Nebraska, where Warren Buffett is the king of investing. I try and take his principles of patience and long term hold and apply them to sports betting. Anything you want to find out about me, Louis Finicaro, I'm gamblu.com, and you can go to the webpage, and that's your one stop shop. I'm fortunate enough to have a nice web page there that some folks in Omaha designed for me. And anything you want to find out about me, a daily blog, etc., can be found there. And you'll see that there's a podcast section there. I do 2 podcasts for the UFC each week. One is the Sneak Teep podcast, takes place each Sunday, and it's a opening line look at any UFC card that there happens to be that week. No UFC card, no Sneak Teep. Friday's Bout Business podcast are my final releases for each week's UFC fight card. I wait until Friday to release them because I'm not trying to get hits and be the most popular website. I'm trying to release winners, and I need to see weigh-ins in order to do it. So lastly, at that top band that you're looking at, you can see anything about me and Gamblu that you want to, but the most important one is the one that Steve lets me mention each week, San Xavier Del Bach Mission, the oldest mission in the United States, the oldest mission in Arizona. Obviously, it sits just south of Tucson, a few hours south of where we are right now. They're doing really great work right there. And I always try and mention the mission. It's close to my family and my heart. Gamblu makes regular contributions to the mission, and we invite any interested party to check that link right there that Riley's got flashing. You hit that, it'll take you right to the San Xavier mission on its own. So, Steve, thanks again for letting me mention that.
Absolutely. And hey, it's a rough time out there. We all know what's going on in the world and the market and the economy and stuff like that. So don't forget, if you're able to, about the charities and people helping out people struggling out there as well, Lou. So I'm proud of you on that. You know that. That's what I'm most proud about knowing you for in this industry that you are in out there. So, which brings me to my next point here. The SEC domination. ASU goes to Texas last week and promptly loses their games against Texas A&M, and those big schools there in college baseball. Of course, season's just started. We haven't got into the play on that side of it. But I know you expect SEC to be dominant here in the baseball side of it. Did anything last weekend just reinforce that, or is it just standard protocol for you in terms of the SEC and college baseball?
Honestly, I paid no attention to the baseball in the college world until we get to conference play. And then it'll take me 2 weeks because I want to see Clemson play Miami, and I need to see LSU go to Tennessee and see these teams sharpen steel on steel. So of the levels of sports that I'm studying right now, unfortunately, college baseball is really low. But here's what I will say, and I'll say it this year about ASU because I said it last year about the U of A. and that is that somebody in that baseball program at ASU cares because they've bitten off a little more than they can chew early in the season by going to get themselves in street fights with bigger kids. But at the end of the day, once you get done fighting your big brother 2 years older than you every day, and then you go to school and some kid in your own class wants to fight you, that's a mismatch. And so I applaud ASU for taking the tough games early and against name programs in order to build themselves up for the long term. That's what it indicates to me, and it'll bear watching.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, just really quick on the baseball top 25. To me, it's a shocker, but UCLA's here ranked number 1. They're 9-2 on the season for them, but they are up there. Big Ten team, of course, here early on the season. Then, of course, followed by LSU, Texas, Mississippi State. Then Georgia Tech sneaks in there. Then you got Arkansas, Auburn, North Carolina, Florida, and Southern Miss there for the top 10 is what you're looking at as of right now on that top 10.
Yeah, so you got side. SEC, ACC, and one or two others. Southern 10, Miss, yeah. who's probably going to be a real team this year. Southern Miss has history of success in college baseball, and it's about time for them to cycle through again. At the end of the day, UCLA is a real team, and I do believe they will make it to Omaha.
Really? Yeah, but I haven't watched one of their games, but I've been reading about them, and just that the stadium that they play in is a bigger stadium. So that obviously will garner them as they get into those types of stadiums as they'll be used to playing on that level.
They have some good pitchers returning from last year too, Steve. And of course, baseball is all about hurlers.
Yeah, you don't win if your starting pitcher gives up 10 runs in the first inning very often, right? So you gotta dominate at that level. Hey, NHL, like you said, you're starting to pay attention to that a little bit as it goes on. Anything you're noticing? I know, obviously the Avalanche with everybody coming back, I should phrase it this way, from everybody coming back from the Olympics. You seeing any hurt from any of these teams that had players over there that were dominant before? Anything changing your mind, at least you're paying more attention to here moving forward on the NHL side as we get closer to the playoffs?
Yeah, I am watching the teams that had a lot of players in the Olympics. And only not because I'm looking for stuff now, because I don't bet it now. I'm looking for any indication that by the time the playoffs come, there could be some attrition. There could be some effect from playing a month or 3 weeks of extra games at high levels of emotion for your country. I'm clouded right now in hockey because I can't get past the phenomenal story that is the Buffalo Sabres right now. And I'm late we're late to talk about it, but for 2-3 weeks, a month now, Buffalo's turned the corner and started to come, and a Buffalo Sabres team that could make the playoffs would just overjoy me, especially in lieu of the other Canadian teams who we have I don't have any hatred for the Canadian teams. I'm of the opinion that we need Canadian teams in the playoffs in order to keep a good, strong NHL. And I really believe that. But getting Buffalo to come in now ahead of a few of these other Calgarys and Vancouvers would really be great. I think not only for the States, but it would be great for New York and for Buffalo. Those fans are the loyalist fans out there, and they've got nothing but dirt thrown in them. For years and years, they've toiled with poor teams, and to see the Sabres playing strong, dynamic hockey right now is really joyful.
Well, you say we're late to that party. Like, you could see them making a run last week when we talked, but then they've won 4 more now. They're in that second spot there in the Atlantic. But don't sleep on the Detroit Red Wings, right? When I was a kid, Detroit was the hockey town and all that, and they're in that third spot right behind the Sabres. We're having a resurgence of these old good teams coming back into it, which I agree with you. I think it's great for the sport.
Oh, Detroit, of course, Detroit would be great. And Detroit's playing good hockey too. And so I look at the West as being a little more wide open, especially with these upstarts in the East, but you never know.
We talked last week, Tampa Bay was on fire going into the Olympic break. After the Olympic break, we're on fire, but now they've lost 3 in a row. Their Tampa Bay is starting to falter a little bit. with their momentum kind of stopped there. That's where it's allowed Buffalo to come back. Buffalo and Detroit. Buffalo's only 2 points behind Tampa, and Detroit's only 3 points behind them as of right now. So we're seeing a little. It's not as it's becoming less wide open here in the East. But I agree with you. Compared to the West, the Avalanche are continuing to roll. The Dallas Stars continue to play well. I know you're not high on them because of goaltending, if I'm correct. That's why I'm not high on Dallas, at least. But your Wild are still hanging there, but the Dallas Stars just keep winning. They've won 10 in a row.
Typical for the regular season. Just to swing back to the East quickly, just because Tampa has lost a couple games right now, there's a little soon. Don't overreact now. I'm telling you, the team to beat in the East is Tampa.
Yeah.
Okay. Detroit and Buffalo are great stories, but to compete with that team, with that gristle and that experience, I'm just saying, pull the reins just a little bit.
Don't do what I typically do and overreact. Okay.
Getting back to Dallas. This is what Dallas does.
Yeah.
Dallas is your prototypical regular season stalwart. And then when they get into the postseason, unfortunately for them, they don't play enough blue line defense in front of a goaltender that kind of like Hellebuyck in Winnipeg. When the pressure gets real high, they don't have their best games. Now that's the easiest way for me to put it. It's the facts.
Yes.
Okay. And until one of those guys can break through that and kick the door in, unfortunately, if I'm going to think that, especially if they leave them back there naked, meaning without a blue line.
Yeah. So it's fascinating. It just kind of what we're seeing in the NHL is where, they're on a playoff push right now. And we are seeing movement out there from teams, making some pushes and making some runs either way coming up here. So it is going to be fascinating to watch. But the big question I got for you, Lou, are you waking up at 3:00 this morning to watch Japan play Chinese Taipei in the World Baseball Classic? Your guy, you called the shots and said you put your money on Japan on this thing. Are you going to wake up at 3 a.m. and watch it?
Absolutely not. No, I'll watch these games. Here's what happens. In fact, it's so important. This is the time of year where we're talking about bracketed tournaments. NCAA basketball, though I don't work it, but hockey is bracketed. World Baseball Classic, it's a bracketed tournament. And unless you understand where the teams are, who they play, how they run through towards who they could play, you're leaving so much of the handicap out of it. So to answer your question, I'm not going to wake up and watch games in Japan. You know why? Because my team's coming out of the Japan bracket. I have a good team.
Yeah. I
know they're coming out of it. I know who they are. I've been betting this thing since its inception when I went to a game here. And so I can't wait to watch games, and we will, in fact, be able to do so because most of these games in the championships will be in Miami this year, and that's going to be a benefit to those of us on this side of the hemisphere. And it'll be a disadvantage to say if Japan does get over here, who are they going to play? Well, they're going to play the U.S., Venezuela, or the Dominicans. And so all of those will be on this side of the hemisphere. Makes for a great tournament, and I can't wait to get into it a little bit more. So I'll wake up and check the score.
Well, I mean, the other thing is I dare I say this, I'd wake up at 3 a.m. if it was a big game, but Japan versus Chinese Taipei, maybe I'm underestimating the Chinese Taipei team a little bit, but I expect Japan to win that game. So why am I going to wake up to watch a game where I expect it to be kind of a blowout, like you said, type of a deal? But we'll see. Maybe Chinese Taipei has something for him.
I mean, I'd like to see a line on the game. I don't think it's going to be out of hand. I mean, the Chinese are proud athletes too. So
DraftKings doesn't have any odds out for the World Baseball Classic that I saw this morning. It doesn't mean that they don't have them. It's just when I looked earlier, I didn't see them out there. So Yeah, that's true. You can bet on anything. So
Are you
I'd be
sure they're
shocked.
playing Chinese Taipei or are they playing Chechnya?
Japan's playing Chinese Taipei. Chechnya played Korea already today, and then they're playing at 8 p.m. tonight. Australia's playing Chechnya.
So Chinese
And,
Taipei was a qualifier. They came in through the qualifier
Yes,
round.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
pretty
so
advantageous draw for
yeah.
Japan.
Well, I'm going off of the World Baseball Classic site, so I'm going to assume that's correct.
That's correct.
I mean, you're right. I mean,
All my notes, these notes are a month,
Yeah.
6 weeks old. I have all kinds of stuff scribbled all over.
yeah, so I don't know. That was going to be my big question: is Lou going to get up at 3 a.m. to watch this? The nice thing about it, other than the 3 a.m. game that happens in Tokyo every day, every other game is 9, 10, 11, 4, 5, 6, and then 8 again from Taipei. So it's baseball all day long here for the World Baseball Classic. If you want to, go into that here going into this weekend.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
So before we get into UFC, anything you want to add on any of these other sports or anything catching your eye lately at all?
I don't think so. Outside of saying that I'm not afraid to wake up at odd hours to watch an event. I mean, if there was a Sinner against Alcaraz tennis final that kicks off at 6 in the morning, I'm up at 6 and I'm up at 5 walking my dog. So by 6, I'm thinking about checking in, looking at numbers and stuff. So if something's on the TV, absolutely, I'll take it in. I love morning sports.
I do. I love morning sports. It's
just
no
like
matter
I
what it
like
is.
morning coffee.
I'm gonna let that sit there for a second as well.
I put that delay was on purpose.
Hey, let's get into the UFC then. I know you have different opinions than I do.
Segue, huh, Steve?
Well, yeah, right. The apologies to everybody who has kids in the car. No, I'm just kidding. That was tame compared to what I normally say, Lou. But I'll just say this about last week's UFC fights there from Mexico City. Except for maybe 2 fights, just a dud of a card. I don't know what your thoughts were on it. Very disappointing. I didn't enjoy most of it. It's the first time it's been that way in a long time. Why am I more heightened to it, though? Because it's on Paramount now, and it's more of a hype to it and things to that effect. I just thought putting that big of a dud of a card together was just a big disappointment here. 3 weeks into the UFC season, 4 weeks into the UFC season? Your overall thoughts on it?
My first thoughts are questions, and that is, why was it a dud? Like, tell me what.
I just didn't think they were great fights. Now the King Green fight I thought was fantastic. We got him at plus 290 going into that one. Not because I won it, but I thought that was a fantastic fight. I just didn't think I think it was Rodriguez Borales. That was a good fight. I thought maybe, but other than that, I just thought they were just 2 guys fighting.
I think you reflect what many people felt watching it, to be honest. I look at them different. I look at it as it was 10-3. 10-3, what are you talking about? 10 favorites, 3 dogs. Yeah. And so that's a hard card for me to make a lot of profit on. And lo and behold, I did make profit on the card. I'm going to have to look how. I actually went 3-1 on this card.
Really?
But Boras was the loser. He was the only disappointment for us.
Rodriguez got that win, second round KO, if I remember
Boras
correctly.
floored him. Our boy Boras came out. He's like, "Hey, I'm ready to fight. I'm willing to fight." He came out with fight, but the other kid was too much. Unfortunate, but you can't win them all anyway. 3-1, and we pick up some money, and we're up on the year. And so for me, because I profited on the card, I'm just trying to make, Steve, there's 42, 44 cards a year. If I can make 1 unit per card, which is I've never been able to do, that'd be 44 units of profit over the year. That'd be great. Now, I've had 18 to 25 unit wins. And so getting back to that, when I can win money on a card, it feels good going past it, moving into the next one. And that's what happened.
Well, that's why I always ask you that question when I ask it, is because, you look at it differently than those of us. Like I turn it on. I put a little bit of money down on it and things like that. But I view it as an entertainment side of it. So that's why I always ask you your opinion from that perspective. But like you said, Rodriguez just Boras was just okay. He showed up. We'll give him credit for that in that fight. But obviously the big one that I enjoyed a lot, Zellhuber and Green. Zellhuber was a 500 odd favorite when we looked at him last week here on this program when we talked about this fight and everything. It did come down close to fight time. I picked up King Green as just a flyer there at plus 290, like 5
Good
minutes
for you.
before this fight came out there, and second round KO. And I mean Zellhuber, that hype was not there in my opinion for that kid. I knew nothing about these guys other than what you had told me, by the way. And 2
Well, I
minutes into
told
that
you,
fight,
Green.
I was like, yeah, Zellhuber, what's this 500 odd favorite thing?
Yeah, well, like I said, I can't bet a guy that lost his last fight comes minus 500 the next fight,
Yeah.
especially against a guy, as I use the word for Bobby Green, uneven. Well, you saw the other side of uneven on Bobby Green last week
Yeah.
because he painted Zellhuber's fence. Zellhuber is unable to fight behind his physical attributes, his height and his length. He couldn't keep Green away from him.
Yeah.
Green with the hands at the side and how jivey he was had that kid urinating in his own underwear. And so that was a really fun one for me to watch. I'm kicking myself a little that I didn't have something on Green, but if I can go 3-1 on every fight card, I'm going to be happy, and I don't care who I miss.
Well, exactly, right? And it was funny, too, because in my thought process, I was like, man, I'm kind of bored with these fights here. I dare I say this, Lou, it might be that they were just flyweight fights. They're all tiny guys in this fight. There was no big guy to mix it up in there. No big fights, big guys out. Maybe that's why I found it a little bit lackadaisical, kind of a fight card type of a thing. But on that, but I do remember thinking like, I'm just gonna throw $5 down on Green, and whatever happens, almost like I'm bored with this. Maybe I can make this entertaining.
You knew right away you were a winner.
Oh,
too.
no,
you didn't have to wait long.
No, that fight started, and I literally was questioning. I was like, I must be looking at something wrong here, because there's no way this other kid should have been that big of. I don't remember what he was when the fight started. I know it came down from 500, but as just a novice guy, I even recognized early on, like, this. If you just dropped me on this earth on Saturday night and said, watch this Zellhuber kid fight, he was a 500 favorite, I would have looked at you like you were nuts instantly when that fight started, So
that's a fight we call a parlay buster because everybody had Zellhuber in one leg of a parlay. They had two legs that came in.
Yeah.
Zellhuber, then Moreno. And Zellhuber just smashed their model.
Just to get that number there. The other fight I wanted to ask you about was just Brandon Moreno and Kavanaugh there, the flyweight bout that was the main event card here. Ended up being a unanimous decision in this fight as well. Just your opinion on Kavanaugh with getting that win with the decision.
Oh, how can you not be impressed by the young man? His fourth fight into the UFC, goes to Mexico, into altitude to take on the face of Mexican MMA, Brandon Moreno. The good news for Kavanaugh is that Moreno was fighting in wet cement. He couldn't move. His will is gone. He's shot. That's a shot fighter right there.
Now, that was going to be my question on Moreno. He didn't look like he wanted to be there, is what I was literally what I wrote down in my notes. It was just like he was.
The mind knows how, but the body can't do it no more.
So it's a body function, because I was going to ask you, a lot of pressure on Moreno, home fighter, Mexico City, all of that stuff. Did the pressure get to him? But you think it's just a shot fighter type situation?
No, I think he's proud. He's happy to have, that headline, that opportunity, because he realizes himself how hard it is to get ready and how hard it is to execute against young men like he did before, but he can't seem to now. And understand this, he's 32.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's an old guy.
Yeah.
But in flyweight terms, with the wars he's been through, he's 38 and he's out. I mean, they moved him down to 8 or 9 in the rankings, and he'll be irrelevant soon enough.
So let me ask you this. You bring this question to my mind here, just from a boxing perspective. Heavyweights
Pardon me.
are always dangerous because you don't lose the power, you lose the other stuff out there. So you're always dangerous to knock them out. Flyweights, they get hit a lot. They generally go to decisions, not a lot of knockouts in the flyweight. So your body, you just take a toll longer, you take a toll more in the flyweight division because you absorb so many more hits?
Moreno's been hit a lot just because of the way he fights and who he's been in with. But normally, flyweights are two flies in a mason jar. They're fat. They never engage.
Okay.
It's a dance in a pillow fight, and that's why that agility and that speed and craftiness. When you're 32 as a flyweight, you're really 35. When
You're slower.
32 as a heavyweight, you're 26.
All right. Yeah, I never thought of that before because a flyweight, like, what does a flyweight lose? I guess that's true. They lose their speed and their ability to move as they get older from that perspective. So, yeah, that makes sense there. So, I tell you what, Lou, let's take, unless there's anything else from the last fight you wanted to bring up at all? I didn't know if there's anything you made notes on that you wanted to bring up.
David Martinez against Vera, that was a favorite that I played.
Yeah.
And if you look at that, it's unfortunate Vera's going the other way too. We're seeing some turnover in the UFC. But David Martinez has to improve because he looked normal against Vera, and that's not a compliment.
It's not a Lou compliment. All right, when we come back, we'll get into it. UFC 326 from Las Vegas. We got early prelims, we got prelims, we got the main card coming up. You released last week Ronda Holloway in this battle, in this fight here, so we'll get your opinion on that, of course, when we get here to Holloway Oliveira here as the main card. But we got a lot of prelim fights and early prelim fights to talk about. Let's get into it when we come back with Uncle Lou here on Thursdays. Back here, main event Thursdays with Uncle Lou. You can catch him on several of VSiN live shows there as well. Of course, here every Thursday. We put this out in podcast form, of course, on Robat TV on demand for your subscriptions. Our production YouTube page as well. There's an interview section we put out there with just this segment. For those of you just looking for that, of course, the podcast form as well. Just a note here. Pit Stop is going to be posted today for you racing fans. IndyCar and NASCAR is in town this week. So we'll get that weekly Pit Stop show up here today. By 2 o'clock, you'll see it posted on the YouTube, their podcast system, as well as here at Robat TV for those of you that watch us there as well. So, Lou, anyway, I do a little plug there and everything. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you say that IndyCar and NASCAR are both here in Phoenix this weekend?
Yep, same racetrack. Yeah, so this is the first year. Last week, IndyCar got underway at St. Petersburg, St. Pete there, Florida. IndyCar opened their season there. They had the Truck Series from NASCAR race on Saturday, IndyCar on Sunday. And then this Saturday, IndyCar is racing during the day, and then the O'Reilly Series is racing Saturday night. and then the NASCAR Cup Series on Sunday as well. So absolutely, yeah. Your buddy Dale Hillestray, out hobnobbing last night with one of the IndyCar drivers. Yeah, he was out to dinner with some friends from Dallas, and little Ferrucci just shows up and has dinner with them.
So there's going to be all kinds of race fans. I
Yeah.
mean, that Southwest Valley going to be packed
There-
tomorrow.
yeah, we'll be out. Yeah, we're going to be out there. I go out there and cover it and all of that stuff and everything. And it's going to be a different.
Cool.
I'm interested in seeing how the crowds mix up, because an Indy crowd is different than some people cross over, but they're two different crowds. So I'm interested in
really?
seeing what happens. Yeah.
I hadn't even considered that.
You go up a different thing there, a little snootier when you get up to the IndyCar side, but no, it's going to be fun watching these different styles of cars out there on the same racetrack and everything, and it's going to be different because normally this race, you go out there and you cover the NASCAR guys like you always do, and you talk to them and all that. Now we got that, a lot of attention is going to be paid toward IndyCar, obviously, this weekend as well out there. Yeah, so if you don't have tickets and you don't want anything to do with that crowd, don't go towards Avondale this weekend, that's for sure.
It's hard to get me to First Avenue, let alone way over there.
I know we got to drive out there, and it's an hour. It's an hour and 20 minutes from my house to get out there every day and then back home.
Because you're way east.
Yeah,
okay.
but the good thing is for us, we have to either be there really early and we leave late, so we get to avoid most of the traffic. So that's the positive side of it. But yeah,
so you're going to miss the fights.
It's a long drive. I will on Saturday. Yeah, I will. I'll have it on. It all depends what I'm doing, because actually Ethan's going out there to help us with some video and picture stuff. Autumn goes with us. So it depends what we're doing. If the race is boring or they're out doing stuff, I can sneak it on my phone, and watch it.
I was going to say, I know what most people are doing when they go to those things.
Yeah, watching others.
This.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, when you're doing the media stuff, you know that you have to be careful with that side of stuff. And
you can, no, if you're doing media there, you can't. Do
yeah,
that.
exactly. So no, and also I don't like buying $20 beers. That's ridiculous, in my opinion.
Uncle Louie don't drink no beer.
Well, everything else is this is expensive out there, but so it'll be a fun weekend there. But of course, UFC 326 this weekend from Las Vegas as well. Here, look, there's a lot of guys that I recognize on this fight. Even on the early prelims, I recognize a couple of these guys here. Fight like Bellato, I've seen him fight before. Bolanos, all the bees. Apparently, I've seen these guys fight before. I'm going to leave it to you to tell me, though, early prelims, which ones should I be paying attention to, if any?
Well, normally I wouldn't draw our attention to the first fight of the night, but you mentioned Bellato, 6'3", 30-year-old Brazilian. That's really not very good. Submission guy. He's got the body type, but he's not tough. He's awkward on his feet. Can't strike. He's going in there against the guy coming in against contender. Now, while Bellato will have experience and level of competition in the UFC face, this Luke Fernandez still happens to be 30 years old, be giving away a little bit of size and reach.
Ooh.
And obviously experience to Bellato. But what Luke Fernandez is a killer power striking finisher. And so what I think that you look at the total here, what do you got? A little 1.5 shaded over. So I think this is going to be Bellato early, trying to advance in on Fernandez. And if Fernandez, I think, can fend him off for a half a round, just let him swell up a little, I think Fernandez has a chance from space to finish this guy. It's probably not a fight I'm going to bet because I don't know enough about Fernandez outside of seeing him in that contender fight. And so a veteran against contender, I lean to the veteran, but Bellato's not very good, and I think they could be serving him up here for Fernandez. So there's the first one.
Well, I'm really quick. I'm always weary of a contender series guy, and then you tell me that he's 30 years old on top of it, But I'm always weary of a contender series guy coming into the UFC against a guy that has fought before, even if the talent is a little bit less. And the contender series guy being a 230 favorite or a big favorite going in. I'm always weary on those fights as they go, But in this case, you're saying Fernandez's power probably leans that way.
Well, it opened to pick. So the
Oh, did
money's
it?
coming in on
Okay.
Fernandez, and
Okay.
I think I have to agree with it because let me put it to you this way: this is not Uncle Louie recommending Luke Fernandez. This is Uncle Louie recommending a fade on Bellotto because he's just not very good.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I was just curious on that
Next,
with the contender series. But also, do you see a lot of contender series guys being age 30? Aren't they normally young, up and coming guys trying to make it?
they can be, but they don't know they're
Yeah.
not always. And you know, I take a fighter by the fighter. I mean, if the guy can fight, he can fight. Now there's a guy coming up. In fact, I just released on Twitter yesterday, or I think it was yesterday, Asplund,
14 hours ago. Yeah.
ASP, ASPLUND. And if you take a look at, you could just go Google Asplund UFC at Wikipedia or something, and you see him, you're going to think I'm joking. He looks like he's a painter or a trash man, or he was a one-time 320-pound guy that's lost all this weight. So he's got a bunch of flabby skin, and he's not an appealing guy to look at, but he's meaner than a junkyard dog, and he can fight. And I released him. So the look of the fighter really doesn't matter to me or where they come from. It's if they can and how they can fight.
Yeah, that's the thing. Don't judge a book by the cover, right? That's what we always ask. And then we're guilty of it, Lou. I'm guilty of it.
I've learned in the fight game that the guy that's chiseled out of marble and everything, yeah, but if you give me some guy that looks like he's a painter, somebody better watch out for that dude. So,
Right.
all right, so let's go to
Yep.
the next fight.
Well, you got Lee
To
and
me,
Bolanos here, and Lee's a 325 favorite here.
Lee and Bolanos.
Yep. Well, the only reason I'm bringing this up is a featherweight fight here, and South Korea fighter and a Peruvian fighter. I know the odds are off here, and it's an over unders 2.5, under minus 135, which tells you either somebody, I don't know if somebody's a submittal artist here or not, but the thing that catches me about this fight is, and I know it's an early prelim, but I'm interested in the fighting differences here between these guys, being South Korea and a Peru fighter. That's why I wanted to ask you about this early prelim fight.
Yeah, they're both basically strikers. Really, Bolanos could grapple a little, but the tail here, and you stole all my thunder.
Oh,
Is
sorry.
I love matchups between a short, stocky Peruvian striker going to face a long, lanky Korean striker. I love those kinds of matchups. And so where you get your difference is Lee's going to be 3 inches the taller man, 3 years the younger man, 4 inch reach advantage in a fight that shakes out to be a striking match as well. If I look at topology, Bolanos, his last fight was at 135, and this is a fight that's going to be at 145. So now you're going to compound the complexity for Bolanos by moving him from 135 pounds up a weight class against a guy that's longer, taller. Now, Bolanos got some power, don't get me wrong, but I think the legitimate favorite is the South Korean fighter. I don't know if Bolanos going to be able to get in on him.
Yeah, that just struck me when I was doing the research last night on just what a mismatch this fight. I didn't realize Bolanos going up a weight class as well to a guy. I'm assuming Lee normally fights at that 45, right? So there's an adjustment here in this fight as well going forward there. So
yeah, and then we go
yep.
up the next fight and we get another one like that. We got a guy from Brazil, is Tobias. He's coming from Contender, fighting this Kazakstani fighter that hasn't had a lot of luck in the UFC so far. Tobias will be 5 years the younger man, but only 23. So sometimes when there's a great age difference, it means a lot if one guy's 37 and one guy's 30. But if one guy's 28 and one guy's 23, sometimes you almost wonder if the guy that is 23 ain't quite a full grown man yet. And that's kind of what I'm wondering here. The only problem is this Tobias got power coming out of every orifice. And the other kid, Nurgazne, he's a Kazakstani. He's been iced a couple times. So a fight to watch because somebody's probably going to go. Now, what's that total, Steve?
1.5, minus 105 to the over, minus 125 to the under.
Yeah, so they're saying Tobias going to knock this dude out.
That's what
How
they're
long is it
saying.
going to take? Okay,
Yeah.
now we go to the next fight, and that is Sue Muharji. And Muharji's from China, long, tall, skinny striker, uses his knees and elbows against Jesus Aguilar from Mexico. Unfortunately, he didn't get to fight in the Mexico card last week. He had to fight uh, uh, in the States. And of course, while Sue Maharji's 5'9" and long and tall for 125 pounds, Aguilar's 5'4". So Aguilar will be staring him right like this and looking just over his belly button. That's how much taller that Sue
Wow.
is going to be. There's going to be a 9-inch reach advantage. Maharji's a lefty, and all kinds of money's being dumped on Sue Maharji. One problem is Jesus Aguilar. He's tough, he's determined, and he ain't afraid. And if he could take a body attack to this kid and chop him down, he may not be out of this fight. I'm not so sure I don't like Aguilar in this spot. That's a fight I'll be watching. I think if he could get this fight to the ground, he wins. And so the key will be, can a little teeny guy like that get this big, long string bean of a guy down to the ground? It should be very interesting to see. Then we go up the ranks to another 125-pound fight, Durden and Tumdenberel,
Thank
a
you for
Mongolian against a U.S. kid.
thank you for taking that.
U.S. kids lost his last three, but to pretty good competition. He's a wrestler, strikes. He's scrappy. He's gritty. Tumen Demberel is a submission guy, and he's going to have 7 years of youth on Durden. Excuse me. Besides 7 years of youth on Durden, he's going to also have 4-inch reach advantage. This fight opened to pick. Tumen Demberel now is minus 150-ish
Yeah.
or so. This is 2.5 over. This probably goes to decision.
Oh,
Should be an interesting fight. I want to like Durden. I want to like Durden here, but I don't know that I can bet this fight because Durden has been subbed. Tumen Demberel is a submission guy. So
well,
that's the one thing keeping me from being as high on Durden as I am on Jesus
well,
Aguilar.
well, let me ask you this, because you said possible decision here in this fight is what you're looking at. Over under 2.5, over plus 130, under minus 166. So the odds are telling us there's a finish here at some type.
That opened over minus 176.
So that's changed huge.
So somebody's bet a good amount of money on this fight going under 2.5,
Okay.
right? You have 2.5.
Yeah, under
Yeah.
2.5, minus 166. Yeah.
So what that line move tells me is that somebody thinks this fight's going to end in a finish. So make sure to watch it. And if it does, that means Tumen Demberel might sub Durden.
Yeah, that's what I would take it at. That's what I would take it out with the. Well, you said it opened to pick him as well, and he's a minus 150 going into
Yeah.
that. So a lot of money on. I'm gonna call him T. A lot of money on T here
Super
in this
T.
fight.
All right, next fight, Montez and Turquios. Turquios is wild. He has no power. He flails. He can grapple a little bit. He's not very good. I don't know enough about Montez to tell you whether outside he's from Venezuela. That's a fight I'll watch and learn from, but I'm surely not impressed with Turquios and understand why anybody fighting him would be a favorite.
Yeah, minus
Next
192
one,
favorite also. Yeah.
yeah. Next one, Brundage and Dante Johnson. This one should be good. Brundage has to come in on short notice. Brundage is a good, solid, strong wrestler, good kid, family man, dad. He's just struggling so hard to be a legitimate middleweight in the UFC. His abilities are there. He just isn't quite the striker he needs to be in order to excel. Meanwhile, this dude Dante Johnson, 25 years old, he's a short little fire hydrant of a guy. Brundage is going to be 4 inches the taller man, 6 years the older man, as well. That Brundage will be giving up reach. And so you've got a guy in Dante Johnson that's profusely explosive and powerful, and a guy in Brundage a little more of a plotter. This is a terrible matchup for Brundage, but he's a family man. He needs to earn. He's got kids to feed. And Dante Johnson, you can see the price tag on him is ridiculous.
Minus
That's
800
because
right now. Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna go out there and there'll be violence in this fight.
Yeah, even the over under 1.5 under is minus 185. It looks like here as well in this one. So they're even saying quick and fast in this fight. So
This one will be one you watch like this.
that's terrible for Brundage because I like Brundage. I know I've seen him fight before and
Good kid.
everything, but
Good,
yeah,
good kid. He's won some fights, but this is a bad draw. As Bob Marley saying, he draw bad card.
yeah, that's the problem. Especially being a fill-in, right, on top of it. So it's even worse. I
Well,
think.
I mean, he's there to say yes to the organization, so they keep using him and keep paying him. So I get it. I do understand the fighter perspective. Okay, last one on the prelims is Garbrandt and Long. This is a fascinating one because you know Garbrandt, Steve.
Yes.
And Garbrandt used to be a champion at 135, but boy, has he free fallen down the ranks. He's extremely chinny. He has what we call the balsa wood beak, or the porcelain chin. His chin is more fragile than your grandmother's porcelain. I mean, if you sneeze on him, he goes. Okay,
Yeah.
so we know
That's what happened to him in his
Even
last
if you
fight,
didn't-
if I remember. I mean, he went down quick. Yeah.
if you hit him in the teeth, he's going. Okay, and so that said, he's wildly athletic, has great feet, fast as lightning, shoots straight 1 and 2s, has some good offense, can wrestle. He's really the whole package, except that he can't absorb a flush one to the face. So he's fighting a kid named Zhao Long. Long going to be 7 years the younger guy. Other than that, they're relatively close in stature, although Long will have some reach. It's questionable whether Long really is a legit UFC fighter, in my opinion. And if Garbrandt loses to this kid, it'll be Garbrandt's last fight in the UFC because he'll have to go. I think they're serving Garbrandt up one here to keep him relevant and keep him vested. I just think he's going to just be way too much for Long, and they got Long as the favorite.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what did this open at? Because Long's a 162. You're not the only one. I was reading something about this fight last night, getting ready for this, and I was actually surprised when I saw that Long was the favorite here because everybody, at least that is leaning that way now, is just saying this is kind of a question mark fight for him. He's 162 favorite right now. Long is. What did it open at?
Minus 2 to 1. So there's been money that's kind of come in a little bit on Garbrandt, and I get it. I got a total here, what, 2.5?
2.5, and it's minus 180 to the
207.
over. Yeah.
Yeah, that tells me that Long won't be able to get to Garbrandt, because I think it's going to be hard to beat Garbrandt, who lives in Vegas and trains in Vegas, to earn a decision in Vegas against Garbrandt.
Exactly, right? For the last fight there of the prelims, then we get into the main event fights where we get, is this RoboCop right here? Gregory Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Look at me go.
It's RoboCop.
Yeah, Bruno Ferreira here in this fight.
This is a rematch. This is Ferreira's debut fight, and they give him RoboCop. It's like, wow, who did this guy tick off that they'd give him RoboCop as his opener? And he's a fellow Brazilian. And they went out there, and RoboCop, as many Brazilians can, just totally threw IQ out. Hit Ferreira with a few. Ferreira hit him with a few. Then RoboCop said, "Yeah, I'm going to stand here and bang with this guy." And as soon as he got "guy" out of his mouth, Ferreira hit him, knocked him out as cold as a freaking mackerel on a dock. He was out. And so now, after the 6-8 fights each, both guys fighting top line guys, RoboCop has had probably the better level of competition. He's faced a higher grade of competitor, but he's lost to some of them. but he's also in the process of losing, learned how to be a world-class top elite fighter. So he's bringing that into the cage, and Ferreira's won some really good, strong fights himself, and he's bringing the same explosive quickness, devastating power. So the question in this fight is simply this: will RoboCop be smart enough to just go out there and find a way, sell his soul to the devil to get Ferreira on his back, off his feet, and grapple him up? Because if he does that, he wins the fight. If he decides he's going to stand and try and bang with Ferreira, he's playing Ferreira's fight, he's playing Ferreira's game, and he may not make it out because RoboCop has been rung up a couple times. So which one's it going to be? I don't know. Who's the underdog in the fight?
Vegas doesn't know either. Ferrara's the underdog, plus 154. Rodriguez is a minus 185 favorite, but over-under's 1.5, minus 110 to the over, minus 120 to the under.
Yeah, so somebody who's which guy's going?
Yeah,
you know, which guy gonna go? And you know, I like the fact that Rodriguez has more ways to win. Will he use his IQ is the question. I don't know. I want to like Ferrara a little.
There you go for that. I just like it when the odds are like, when even Vegas goes, yeah, we don't know. Just whatever you guys want to do, just put your money down and let's just watch this thing here. Then you got Drew Dober, my buddy here, against Michael Johnson, of all guys, battling it out.
Yeah, Dober's short, stocky, granite striker with tremendous power, loves to put on a show. He walks right to the middle and gets it on. And in Michael Johnson, you got a guy who does the exact same thing, only Michael Johnson's a little bit taller, a little bit longer, and Michael Johnson's also a little bit older. You know, and if you're older than Dober, you're real old because Dober's 37, Michael Johnson 39. So this is the geriatric fight that under any circumstance, you can't miss this fight because these two guys are just going to throw down. And they're 155 pounders. What's the total in this one, Steve?
1.5. I'm sorry, I apologize. Yeah, 1.5, minus 215 to the over, though.
So at 215 overs, I don't think this fight in any way, shape, or form goes the distance. So I would lean to either fight does not go the distance or the under. One of these two dudes going to get KO'd here. And I think Michael Johnson is the more erratic fighter. He has great outings and then some not so good. He's coming off a really good one. Dober's coming off a really bad one. And for that reason, I may lean to Michael Johnson here a little bit.
On this one, yeah, because I think I remember about Dober is he just stands in there and he gets hit and he also hits at the same time. So it's just a matter of what style and I guess who lands the big one in this one, right? That we're looking at between these guys.
They're both going to land big ones. It's going to be who lands the biggest ones because they're both. I'm telling you what, this can be a great fight.
So do not miss. I'm going to write that down here so I know when to log in this weekend and take a look at it. Then you got Rob Font coming up against Raul Rosas Jr. Here in this, I do remember Rosas here fighting before, but I remember Rob Font very well, and from his last fight as well. Font is a plus 190 dog. Minus 230 here for Raul here in this fight.
Font's a grizzled old veteran, 38-year-old fighter, going to be 17 years older than 21-year-old Raul Rosas, who trains here in Phoenix at the MMA lab for this fight. Rosas is a really, really strong wrestler, grappler, and Font sports 42% takedown defense. So the plan is clear. For the Rosas side, they're going to go out there and cut distance away from Font, grab hold of him, press him against the cage, and get him to the floor. If they can't, they lose. Rob Font, who's training now at TriStar up in Canada because they're a great wrestling place, he's hoping to get a little bit of takedown defense instilled in him because he knows what's coming from Rosas, and he knows he has to keep him off of him in order to have a chance at this fight. Font knows if he keeps it standing, he wins. Font also knows if he gets swept off his feet and goes down on bottom, this other kid could submit him. And so therein lies the intrigue of this fight, besides the vast age difference. The one thing I will say from Rosas is he's got styled hair. He came from the ghetto, and now he's got a little bit of money. He knows what he's fighting for. I know he's focused, but I almost wonder if at 21 years old, uh, maybe I have some questions. So this fight is going to tell me a lot, because you have a grown man against a young man, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, over under is 2.5, minus 260 to the over right now. So they're leaning decision here in this fight as well. But Rosas is a minus 230 favorite going into this as well. So, like when it comes to your point of, getting him on the ground and winning that fight, that kind of gives you an interesting perspective there with those odds.
Well, if they're on the ground, it'll be Rosas on top, and he'll dominate, and he'll win a 30-27 decision.
Okay.
And if it's not on the ground and it stays standing, anything can happen.
Ooh-wee. So pay attention to that in MMA Lab anytime the local guys get involved. Then we got De Ridder against Baralho here from Brazil. These two guys, I've seen these guys before, and actually I was going through some old notes. They both lost their last fights. This is what I did, Lou.
Yeah.
On top of it, but I don't remember how they lost them. I do remember, though, and I made a note here that Baralho actually, I have a little bit of a disappointment here from his last fight. This is a middleweight bout here, so tell us about these guys.
Yeah, Baralho lost his last fight to Imavov in France, and it's because 2 weeks earlier he weighed in to be the replacement of another fight. So he went through all the mental and physical expense of cutting the weight to make that 2 weeks later, then turned around, tried to fight against a legitimate badass, and got his butt kicked. He had no energy and looked bad. So he comes in off the bounce. The other guy, De Ridder, comes in off the bounce too, because he got beat by Jared Allen in a 5-round fight, where for 2 rounds he was winning impressively. And then finally, in the 3rd round, he slowed considerably. And in the 4th round, after the 4th, he couldn't get off his stool. He was so gassed and tired. But it was his 4th fight in 11 months. And he is a 205-pound athlete that cuts weight to fight at 185. And so those 4 fights in 11 months, all those weight cuts, did they affect him? They absolutely did. Now, the 2 fighters. Baralho is a Brazilian bad hombre. He can strike. He's got power. He's got good feet. He can take a punch. And he's got world-class BJJ. Rene De Ridder can't even spell strike. He has no feet. He can't beat me in a boxing match. And he wouldn't want to box me. But he has absolute elite world-class grappling. And because of his immense size, he used to compete at 205. Now he's fighting these 185ers. He towers over and weighs way more than most of his competition. And he will in this one. Now, Baralho's listed at 5'10", but I've seen him stand next to each other, and he's not 5'10". He's more like 6 foot, and De Ridder's 6'2" or 6'3". So De Ridder will have physical size and weight on Baralho, but Baralho has more ways to win, because on the feet, where De Ridder will not want to be, he will be inept, literally inept. He will sell out to go and try and wrestle up and get Baralho down. And when Baralho can face that fire with his fire, and I believe they're equal, then it's going to be turned into a striking match, and that's where RDR is inept. And so the advantage goes to Baralho here, and I think he's the one that wins this fight.
A decision fight? The odds are saying decision. 2.5 is the over, or is the number there. Over is minus 195 right now.
Baralho often goes to decision, and this guy's a huge guy, so that's more than likely.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure with that when you were describing the way he can hit. Usually non-strikers also generally, and there's a generalization I'm throwing out there, I could be wrong, but generally non-strikers also don't like to be hit and struggle at getting hit. So,
well, they don't have any strike defense, and De Ridder's guilty of all of that. And so I wouldn't, Baralo has fought to decision before, and I think the mentality that DeRitter's going to bring to this fight, to this 3-round fight,
Yeah.
after being exposed and everybody saw him quit in a 5-round fight, is going to be such that this goes to decision.
All right, perfect. And then finally, the main card here, lightweight bout here. Max Holloway comes in, the champion, if I do recall, against Charles Oliveira. In this one, last week at the end of the show, you said run to Holloway in this one. Still feel that way here before the weigh-ins?
Well, I think I got cute and said run, don't walk,
Yeah.
but we're not going to mention that today. We're just going to say that I like Holloway. His price last week was minus 215. You have to pay more now. So if you didn't run last week, you have to pay a little bit more to get Holloway this time.
Minus 220
this is
right
gonna
now on
be
DraftKings.
He's what?
Minus 220.
Oh, so you don't have to pay too much more. And that's probably about right for this fight. He should be the favorite. He is the BMF title holder. Oliveira is rightfully a challenger in BMF. Now, we go back 11 years when these guys first fought. And at that point in time, Max was a featherweight, as was Charles. Charles was fighting the moniker of being a quitter, of a guy that when he got into the kitchen, it was too hot, he would curl up. So they go into this fight, and a minute and a half in, Charles does this against the floor. They call out the fight. Holloway wins. We don't know to this day what the mysterious injury was. Shoulder, collarbone, esophagus. So something caused that. And so Charles had to further bear the moniker of being a quitter and a guy that when the heat got turned up, he would curl up. Now, flash to now, over the course of 11 years, has Charles busted through that stereotype? Absolutely, he has. He's fought and beaten Gaethje, Poirier, Mike Chandler. The dude's a beast. He's lost some fights, but the dude is not a quitter. He's a world-class fighter. He's earned this position to be here. And in this fight, when it starts, he's going to do what he has to do, and that is grapple, because that's his advantage over Max. He's surely not going to be able to strike with Max. Oliveira has power. If he hits Max, he can crumple him. But in the form of trying to throw power punches at Max, Max's straight shots will be too voluminous and too much for Oliveira to take. So Oliveira has to make him grapple, fend him off, and make Max fight Max from close quarters. Max is stupendous, pardon me, with using his feet to create and maintain distance. That's what he must do, and I think he will do it. You want to get cute and not pay the negative price, take Max to win inside the distance. I do think that for all intents and purposes, he will finish Charles.
Okay, yeah, because I would say over-under on this is 2.5, minus 175 to the over on this fight as well. So
we've seen some 2.5s out there. We've seen some 3.5s out there. In my blog, I wrote that one person, if you wanted to, you can go over 2.5 and then bet the fight does not go to decision, and you could hit both.
Oh, there you go. That's the things I don't think about, Lou. Right? That's why you got to go to gamblu.com and read the blog and stuff as well. Follow you at Gamblu as well on X because you put stuff out all the time there as well and everything. So, Lou, we got a good card this weekend. It's going to be fun to watch there and all excited. I'm going to have to find ways to watch it and get creative in watching it or catch up on it this weekend. Any last words for you today?
I'd tell you, forget the fights. Go enjoy yourself at the car races. Have a cold sarsaparilla for Uncle Lou, and we'll talk next week when I throw another 3-1 at him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the important thing, right? That you're looking forward to from that side, from there. So 7 p.m. main card, 3 p.m. for the early prelims from Las Vegas. There, of course, Paramount Plus this weekend. Lou, have a good week. I appreciate you joining us remotely. I know you're a busy guy out there. So go do all your other busy stuff now that you got the most important thing done today here on the main event.
This is a most important thing, and thanks for having me.
You got it, man. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week. For everybody else, McCollum on Business is already posted. We do them in the mornings here at 7 a.m. Pit Stop coming up here this afternoon. It'll be posted around 2. Speaking of racing, we'll get you set up for this weekend. Come and join me, everybody. See you tomorrow.